Electrical panel.
Okay, we are here on your 12 volt DC panel. The DC panel is very straightforward. Whatever you need, you put them in. Where you don't need, you turn them off, so you can save battery power. If you look on the panel here now, you will see 4 switches it's on, which are your bilge pump switches. The bilge pump switches are on. They work with an automatic float switch. So if water comes into your boat, it would automatically pump it out. If for some reason it's not working automatic and you have to manually override it, to do that is that you press the switch all the way down on the port side of the switch or the left side of the switch. As you can hear, an alarm comes on and I can hear the pump is running. Finish, put it back on automatic. If I do the other one, same thing. Why you have 4, you have 2. One is for your port bilge and the other one is for your starboard bilge, and you have engine room one for your engine room. So you have a port engine and a starboard engine, and they are labeled which is which. Leave them on at all times. The other breakers or the other switches that you have here, you have fridge 2, which is the freezer. You turn it on. Now you have one that says fridge 2 and another one on the other side that says fridge 1. One is for fridge, one is for your freezer. Leave them on forever during your trip. They are all 12 volt. Once they see the batteries are full, they will work. As your battery get low, it will shut itself off. Low mean 11.8, 11.9. I'm going to turn them off now because we're not using them. Courtesy light. You have courtesy lights around the boat. This is a spare breaker, but it's connected to your Wi-Fi. Next one is your underwater light and a spare breaker. On this side here, you have your navigation light, power navigation light, mooring light, and a search light. Navigation instrument, I'm going to turn that and leave it on now because we're going to go to your instruments in a little bit. It's in the cockpit. Hull light, mean like salon light or cabin light, so you turn this on and you have individual switches around the boat to turn lights on and off. Fridge, this was the fridge 1 that we talked about. That's on, that's off. Freshwater pump. Freshwater pump is a self-priming pump. As it primes your system, it shuts itself off. For you guys, turn it off when you're not using it. This is a wash-down pump, like a salt water pump. You don't really need to turn that on. That's only if you're going to use it to wash your anchor chain out. Let's go back to the breaker that says navigation instrument. Navigation instrument breaker would give power to the autopilot, your depth, your chart plotter, also the gauges. The gauge that show you how much water you have in the boat, how much fuel you have in the boat. So the gauge is on the chart table next to your VHF. In a little bit we're going to move the camera to go there. Also what you have here, you have a water maker, you have your alarm, you have a switch here, an on and off switch for your generator. So before you start your generator up, you want to make sure that you have no shore power that plugged in. Because this boat, you have shore power and generator, but you have an automatic transfer switch. So the automatic transfer switch works. If it doesn't see shore power and you start your generator up, it will give AC power to the boat. So you don't want to have a generator running and also plugged into shore power, because your automatic transfer switch cannot work automatic and then it will have a problem. So I'm going to go now and turn shore power off and then come back and start your generator. What? Okay, I just went to the shore power and turned it off. So now I want to start my generator. To start the generator, there's an on and off switch right here. I have a little slider on it. So I press on, and you will see there's a light comes on. Also you would hear a click that is on. This is your generator start panel here. To start your generator, it's very straightforward. You press the start button and hold. It will preheat, program, and start. My generator start up. I can see there's a readout here. It will show me that I have AC volts and AC frequency. So my generator is running. Again, it's automatic transfer, so it will give power to all the AC outlet and your air condition. I'm checking right now to see if my air condition is working. You want to move the camera soon? So if you look here, you will see my air condition remote is on. I have a power button, a mode, temperature, and fan. And since we are here, the mode that you want to set it on is cool and heat mode. Temperature, you can set it to 60, and you can set the fan up how much you need. Now you want to stop your generator. To stop in your generator, you don't have to turn none of the air condition off or nothing off. You just go to the generator panel and turn generator off by press the stop button, and everything is off. You want to turn the ignition completely off from your generator. You come to the on and off button here, slide the window up, press off, everything is off. So now I can go back to shore power, turn my switch on, and everything comes on. Also, you have individual AC breakers. They're all in your starboard engine room. When we get to the starboard engine room, we'll explain them to you. Here we are next to your chart table. What you have here, you have a VHF, a fusion player, some gauges, and a digital multi-control. We'll start with your VHF. To turn your VHF on, you press the power button. It should come on. It says press OK to continue, and it goes to channel 16. Everyone monitor on channel 16, and then they tell you which channel to switch to. Switching channel, you can turn here. To use the mic, you press to speak, to listen, you release. You also can change channel from here. You have an up and down button. Have your volume. I'm going to turn it off by pressing my power button. It's off. Fusion player. This is Bluetooth ready. To find the Bluetooth page, there's an arrow here. You select the arrow and you can use the dial to find the Bluetooth page. When you find the Bluetooth page, you select and then you hook it up with your device. To go back to FM, press your arrow, select, and you get a radio station. Also, this one have different player that you can go in here, like a CD. These are the gauges here that you have. You get power to these gauge from the breaker down below that says navigation instrument. This is fuel, this is water, and battery. Let's talk a little bit about battery. The batteries that you have on board, you have your engine have its own battery, the generator have its own battery, and the service battery is a separate battery bank, which you call the domestic battery or the house battery bank. You must run both engine 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening at 1500 RPM to keep the battery charged up. If you know you run your generator all night for air condition, make sure your battery charger is on and it will charge your batteries up, so you don't have to do 2 hours in the morning, 2 hours in the evening of engine charging. The panel that you have here, that's your battery charger panel and an inverter panel. So whenever you're on shore power or your generator is running, you make sure that this little switch here, if you look, it's in the off position, it's always on the charger side or charger only. So I'm gonna, as you see, there's no light burning here. I'm gonna start my generator back one more time so you will see that the light comes on here. My generator is running. It shows that I have main power on. I mean, power is coming into the boat. And my voltage is showing you almost 13.5 to 14 volt. That means I'm getting a charge, and it's a bulk charge. If this switch is in the on position and this gauge is showing you 12 volts or 11 volts, it means that the batteries are not getting a charge. Mean that something went wrong with your battery charger, or maybe a breaker trip. Again, we're going to go to the breakers in a little bit. I'm going to turn the generator off, and then I'm going to show you how to use it on the inverter side. So now I have no shore power coming into the boat. Also, I have no generator. But I want to get AC outlets. Remember, AC outlet, not air condition. I can start my engine up and put them at 1500 RPM. And then I come here and select to the on position. And my inverter will come on. And I will get AC power. Remember, what the inverter does, it takes 12 volt, make 110 volt. Please remember to have your engine running when you're using the inverter. When you finish, turn it off. If you know you use the inverter for about 10 minutes or 20 minutes, like you were using the microwave and the toaster, when you turn the inverter off, leave the engine running for 10 to 15 minutes so you can charge your batteries up back. Now I'm going to put it back to charge only, and I'm going to select and I'm going to turn shore power on, and you will see a light comes on here. So let me run. So as you can see, shore power comes on back. Now this panel, I do get a lot of phone calls on this panel. This panel is very straightforward. If you got lights on here, it means the switch should be on this side, which is charger only. That means you get power from shore power or generator. If you got no power here and you want to use inverter, you switch it over to inverter. Whenever you're going to switch it to inverter, it means that you got no power coming here. Okay? That's it for that.
Flushing the heads.
Here we in the head. We want to show you how to operate your head. To use it, you have a switch here where it says dry bowl and wet bowl. So right now if I press this will bring water in. There's the wet side. To empty the bowl, I press this and it disappears. When it disappears from the bowl, bring some more water in and flush it again. In that way you get it completely out from the line and it gone into the hole in tank so that it's not going to feed back on you. I'm going to bring some water in.
Checking the bilge.
Okay, here we are on the port side bilge. If you look in here, the bilge is dry and nice. To the bottom there, that's your bilge pump. So I'm gonna operate the bilge pump from the panel. I'm gonna turn it on manual so you can hear the pump is running. So that was manual override. Also, these belch pump have a switch on them. You can test them here. I press the switch, hold, and the pump comes on. So since this is the deepest part of your belch, this is where you're going to check every morning before you set sail. Also, you can have a look in the night before you go to bed. Also, there's another pump in here. That's your air condition pump. Whenever your air conditioner is working, you guys will see some water coming out from the side of the boat. A lot of people will call me up and say, hey, my belch pump was running all night. It's not your belch pump. It's your air condition pump. The way how it works for your air condition, it brings raw water in or salt water in, cool the compressor and throw it out to the side. Sometimes there's a lot of seaweed that float around and get pulled in and it goes into the filter here. Sometimes you'll have to clean the filter. If you don't know, remember where it is, or you don't know how to do it, you can call me up, I'll tell you how to do it. Same goes on the starboard side, it's the deepest part of your belch.
Lighting the stove.
Here we're gonna light your stove. Before you start, it's a propane stove, so you have a propane tank. The propane tank is in a cockpit locker. I have an on and off valve on it. So right now it's in the on position. It'd be great when you finish cooking or finish using the stove, you turn the valve off back on the tank. So now the tank is on. You also have an LPG gas control system, which is a solenoid switch. So I press on, solenoid is on. I want to light my stove. First you light the match, push the burner knob in and turn which one you're lighting. In this case I'm lighting the big one. Hold it down a couple seconds for the thermocouple to heat up and it stays on. And you do the same for the other two burners. Finish cooking, turn it off. Remember, when you light the stove, you light the match first, push the knob down, turn, keep holding it down so the thermocouple can heat up. Then you release.
Lighting the oven.
So now we're gonna light the oven. You open it. You also have a lock here. Open. The burner is to the bottom. So we take the bottom tray out. So we have it off completely so you can see. Again, you light the match first, push your burner knob in and turn. Hold it down to 10 to 12 seconds. Thermocouple heats up. It's working in there. I put my tray back in. Put my baking tray. Put the turkey in. It's ready to go. Finish cooking. Turn it off. When I finish turning it off, I go to my solenoid and press off.
Starting the engine.
Okay, here we're gonna start your engine up. Before we start your engine, we want to make sure it's in neutral. To know what's neutral, if the gear shifting unit is straight up, or if these buttons can go in to the side. Also, with the button in, and hold it in, and push it forward or backward, it disengages your transmission so you just get a revolution. So now we want to start our engine, we want to make sure it's in neutral. Again, if the button can go in, that's neutral. Here I have an ignition button which says on, and I press start. Engine started up. Before I do anything else, look, check for exhaust, check your exhaust for water flow, which is the raw water cooling system. Do the next one, ignition, start, engine started. Again, I check my exhaust for raw water cooling. So both engine is running. Here I'm going to show you how to disengage the transmission and get a revolution by pushing the button in I can get a revolution. Now I can get to bring it up to 1500 RPM. 1500 RPM will be 1.5 here. I can do the other one. That's if I have to charge my batteries up with the engine. Now I bring it back to neutral. The button will pop out. I'll put it forward. I'll go forward, neutral, or reverse. Again, if I was going forward and someone say back up, please bring it to neutral, count 1, 2, 3, then shift into reverse. Please do not shift from forward to reverse or reverse to forward. Now I want to stop my engine. I press the stop buttons, engine stop, and then I turn ignition completely off. Also, the windlass that you have to bring your anchor chain up or down, it will only get power when your engine is running. Also, you have a windlass breaker, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Here, it's going to show you the speed, how fast you're going, and depth. Whatever depth they show, you're going to add 2 feet to it, and that's your true depth, because your transducer is 2 feet below the water line. So if you look here, these 2 gauges showing the same thing pretty much, but one is showing you the wind direction and how fast the wind is blowing. The other one is your autopilot. Your autopilot is on standby. If you move the wheel around, it will show exactly where your rudder is. So it's have a rudder indicator. To use an autopilot, you point your boat straight where you're going, hit auto, and it's on autopilot mode. You want to turn it off from autopilot mode, hit standby, and your wheel can move. Chart plotter. Have a power button. You press the power button to turn it on. It's a Raymarine ES series, and it's touch screen. We're waiting for the chart plotter to warm itself up and find the location. Okay, here it says accept. Press chart. It's going to show you where your boat is. You can zoom in here or zoom out. Show you exactly where your boat is. Also, it will show you the depth. If you want to use it, press the power button off. Also, if you press the power button and hold it down for 2 seconds and release fast, it will able to show you the brightness screen. Leave it on all the bright that you need. Exit. For your instrument. Now we're going to show you how to use the windlass. Again, before we use the windlass, we're going to start the engine up. Ignition. Start. Ignition. Okay, the camera going to move to the windlass.
Electric windlass.
Okay, here we have the windlass. What you have in here, you have your main anchor. You have 150 feet of chain, 50 feet of road on it. Your chain is marked at every 25 feet with some yellow mark. You also have a remote for it. So you press down, goes down. Press up, and it comes up. Now whenever you're bringing your chain up, have your engine running, put it slowly in forward so the windlass is just picking the slack up of the chain. Also, if you know you have a lot of chain out, like 100 feet, 120 feet of chain, when you're bringing the chain up, it tends to build itself up like a mountain here. So you're going to have to stop, move the chain away, and bring again. Because if not, your chain gonna jam itself off in here. Then it's a problem to get it out. Please remember, every 25 feet the chain, you stop, put the remote away, you move the chain away, and then you bring it up again. Also, the windlass have a breaker. If you overload the windlass, it will trip the breaker. The breaker is in the starboard engine room. A lot of people get mixed up with the windlass and the winch. The windlass is completely separate from the winch. So you have a windlass breaker for the windlass, and you have a winch breaker for your electric winch, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Also in here, you have a secondary anchor. You have a hose, you have your water tank, and that's it you have in here. In here, we have your generator. This is the J box. They call it the J box. Now, sometimes your generator doesn't want to start on the start panel. It's happened that if you put like fenders or any lines in here, and for some reason it hit this switch in the off position, the generator doesn't want to start. I would ask you to come here and have a look at these breakers and see if they're in the on position. So this is off, this is on. Same thing here. Also, you can start your generator from here by pressing this button and hold it. It will preheat and start. Generator start. You can also stop it from here. Now, pretend that your generator is running and you got no power coming into the boat. There's a main breaker to the side here, a double breaker. Maybe it's in the off position. Or there's some other breaker here can trip on you, which is this breaker here. It says circuit breaker for 110 volts. That's trip, that's reset. The other one here is for the water pump for your water maker. These are breaker. This one breaker here is very important because if you overload any of the outlets, it will trip. You have to remember this breaker. The overload mean like if you have a blow dryer on, microwave on, and coffee percolator on. So use one at a time. That's a breaker on trip, or you have a breaker here that you can overload your generator.
Winch breakers.
Okay, these are your battery switch, your windlass breaker, and your service breaker. So if you look here, you have the service battery switch in the on position. This is on, this is off. You don't have to mess with it, leave it alone. The next one is the engine battery switch. It's in the on position. You also have a third one here, which is the coupler switch. You have a separate key for it. If for some reason your port engine is running and your starboard engine is not running, or the other way around, you put the key in, turn it, it will couple all the batteries together so you can start whichever engine is not starting. When the engine started up, make sure you come back here and take it off so that you don't run all the batteries down if you have a battery problem. Also here, if you look, it says windlass breaker, not winch breaker, windlass breaker. If for some reason the windlass is not working, it means you will come here and see this little black lever in the down position. Sometimes a little bit difficult to see it. So look here, I'm going to reset it. I'm going to trip it again. Little lever drop down here, as you can see it here. That's reset. And this is a service breaker. The service breaker mean if no lights, no cabin lights or no fresh water pump and nothing is now working, you'll come here and see it's tripped in the down position. That's the reset. So this is all DC in here. Also, you have the winch breaker up here, which is hiding to the back under here. It says winch on it. You have a yellow lever and a red button. If I press, can you see my hand properly? If you press the red, the yellow lever drop down. To reset it, slide it up. So if for some reason the electric winch is not working, you will come here and see this lever in the down position. All you need to do is to reset it. The other one is for the electric winch for David. That's tripped, that's reset. So again, this is the winch breaker and not the windlass breaker. Okay, what you're looking at there is a 110 volt box. Those are the double breakers, the main breaker. for your 110 volt outlets and 110 volt AC breakers and air condition. So if one of those breakers is in the down position, you will not get power on one leg. So both breakers should be in the up position. Now we're going to move the camera a little bit to the right. You will see another box there. That's the changeover box. That's the automatic transfer boxes. So in this way you don't have to change from shore power to generator. Early on we talk about make sure the boat is not plugged into shore power when you're starting your generator, or when your generator is running. Do not plug your boat into shore power. Those are the automatic transfer breakers or transfer switches. If you do that, you'll burn them out. Please do not have your boat plugged into shore power and start your generator. Now we're going to go to individual breakers, AC breakers, which is a little bit to the right. Unfortunately, you can't see it pulls this way. As you can see, they're all labeled which is which, and they're all in the up position. I mean, they should always be in the up position. If something is not working, you'll come here and look and see which one is in the down position, bring it up. They're all labeled which is which. That's it for in here.
Engine overview.
Here we're in your port engine room. We just want to show you how to manually stop your engine and manually bring your RPM up. So pretend that my engine is running here and I'm pressing stop and the engine will not stop. You can come here and move this little lever that says stop backwards. This is the manual fuel shut off. Also to the right of it here, this is your throttle or your RPM. If for some reason you put your boat in forward and you're not getting the RPM, maybe a shifting cable here, something went wrong with it, so you can get someone here to bring your RPM up. So this is throttle. As you can see, the engine is nice and clean. Also, it's the same engine on your starboard engine room. To the back of the engine, you have a shift on your transmission where you can shift manually if for some reason you have to shift from forward to reverse and it's not working up on the gear shifter by the steering wheel. You can shift it manually here. That's it for your engine.
Using the cockpit shower.
Okay, here is your cockpit shower. Make sure your freshwater pump is on. Pull the hose out gently. To turn it on, there's a twist stop here. You also can get hot and cold right here. The more you turn it, you get hot. You bring it back this way, it's cold. Finish, turn it off. You put it back in. Also, there's two valves to the lower down in case if for some reason the shower head is water is coming out when you're not needing it. You can turn it off manual in here. You also get hot water right in here.
Rigging and winches.
Here we have the winches, the electric winch, reef lines, halyard. So we're going to start with your main halyard. The main halyard is the main halyard. Whenever you want to use the mainsail up, point your boat straight into the wind and wrap your lines around the winch. Again, don't do it like this. Strength of the winch is here, so the more wraps you give it here and it comes easy to the fair lead and it's a self-tailor winch. Pull the mainsail up, point your boat straight into the wind, open the sail bag, release the mainsail, bring it down, open the jammer, get off the winch. You can leave one or two wraps and you can release it slowly like this, or you can take it out completely and it will go through back like this. That's your main halyard. Again, when you're pulling the mainsail up, close the jammer. These are the reef lines, reef 1, reef 2, reef 3. If you have to go to the third reef, I mean it's really rough or heavy weather, if I were you, drop the sail. Now we have a main sheet. This is your main sheet. We have the main sheet and a winch. Also you have a jammer here and the block. To operate your main sheet, obviously you free it up Wrap it around all the way till it comes feet through the fair lead, and you bring it in. The winch handle, you winch it up. Now if you want to free the winch up, put the lock in, release it slowly. It will lock itself in. That's the main sheet locked in. So then I have a free winch sheet on it. See me install a deck organizer here to help feed it, guide it properly to the winch. The winch is 2-speed. This one here, you feed it through here, and it will come around here. This one is a little bit on the short side, so you're going to have to replace this one. So you have a nice line of your jiff sheets, comes to separate winches. Also, both jiff sheets have a jammer, release and close. So you can make them independent, put them away, so you have the 2 winch freely. Again, this winch that you have here for the main halyard is an electric winch, and you have a breaker in your starboard engine room. It shows on the video. That's all you need to know for the lines that you need to operate here. Okay guys, my name is Anthony. You're gonna have my telephone number during the trip. So if you have any question or any problem with the boat, you could call me on 541-0336. It's only for business.
Thank you so much for watching. Anthony will be available when you get here to answer any further questions that you have. And if you have any questions while you're out on the water, he is available for you 24 hours a day in case of emergency. And his number again is 1-284-541-0336. Have a great trip.